Hello everyone, me again. I'll get straight to the point. I know it's been long since you've seen me and my data center. I'll give a quick explanation. I had school. If you haven't realized already, I'm studying at school at my local college. For 3 years now. I'm in the computer engineering program, and when the semester starts and when school starts, it gets really messy. So I don't have a lot of time to mess around with this stuff. So my apologies for that. My semester is over now, so that means I can have some fun with this stuff. Today is like every other video, as I say, it's a very special day, but I don't know. Today is just any ordinary special day. Today, we will be looking at my Dell PowerEdge R910 server. Well, at least one of the two servers that I have. Yeah, let's get to it, and let's see what we can do. So here we have two of my Dell PowerEdge R910 servers. These are 4U servers, and they are quad socket servers. If you remember from previous videos, this guy, or these two guys, are very similar to the IBM System X3850 X5. It's pretty much the same architecture, the same chipset, everything inside. Besides, this is from Dell, and that's from IBM. And there's a few other features that this guy has compared to the other one, but overall, it's the same thing. But yeah, today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to show you actually this guy, talk about all the specs, what it's doing, and what I'm going to be doing today as well is I'll be cleaning up the thermal compound on this guy because it's never done. That's never been done, and this server is a little bit old, and I did get it secondhand. So on my little desk here, I have some, what is this, the Arctic MX4 thermal compound, 2019 edition or something. Yeah, 2019 edition. And we're going to replace the heating compound or thermal compound, whatever you want to call it, on this guy. This one, I won't get to it today. It has its own quirks and features and other stuff, but we'll talk about this one. This one is a little bit more special than that guy. So let's get right to it. You can see already, this is the front of the server. One thing about Dell is, especially with this server, well, I mean, I guess it's with any other server, it has 10,000 features and custom whatever you want done, options, whatever. So in this case, between this one and that one, these are two different configured servers. For example, this one was configured to have 16, I believe, is that correct? 16, yes, 16 drive bays, 2.5-inch drive bays, and this one was only configured to have 4. Again, this all depends on what the customer wanted it, so that's how they ordered it, but for me, it's all good, because either way, with this one or the other one, it's still good. Another thing as well, these are empty. This server actually doesn't have presently any storage on it. It's all empty. There's no local storage, there's no remote storage attached to it. It's pretty much bare bones CPU and some memory and some I/O cards in the back that we'll get to as well. Yeah, so the front is basically, this is actually typical of many Dell servers. And I do give credit. This is one thing I would have liked IBM maybe to have adopted, but instead they have, of course, their little light path diagnostics panel. I guess it's the same thing, but I like a little LCD display. So when we power this on, you'll see that this comes up and has a message or whatever. You can even do a lot of things. You can put a custom message, status, everything. You can do really everything with this guy, with the control panel here. This is a VGA port to connect to a monitor, and this is power and some USB connections. It's a optical drive, and again, yeah, the 16 drive bays. The same here, just this one has 4 optical drive, LCD panel, VGA, USB, and power. And that's, and also you can see by here it's missing one arm, rack, well, not arm, rack ear. Long story short, it got damaged in shipping. I know, big sigh. Or not sigh, sorry, sad face. Because yeah, it's a shame it got, anyways, it somehow got knocked up during shipping, and that's why it's actually not on there. It's up on top over there, I believe. Yeah, it's up on top, waiting to be repaired. So one day I'll get to repairing this and I might make a little video about it. But yeah, anyways, let's get to it. We're gonna open this up and we're gonna see how it looks inside, and I'll go as well to the back and show you how the back looks like. So let's get this going. The massive Dell PowerEdge R910 out of the cabinet. You might not be able to see it on camera, but this is a pretty big system. It's a 4U system, if I don't know if I mentioned it before, but it's 4U high, and the depth is, I think, about 30 inches or something like that. Like I said before, it's a quad socket system. Has this one does have 4 CPUs, 4 heat sinks, all that stuff. So just to get it going, this is how the inside looks like pretty much. These are the memory riser cards. They look like this. Press a button and the memory riser card comes out, and in here you have your memory. Each of these trays or riser cards can hold up to 8 DDR3 registered ECC memory blocks, and there's 2 of them in here currently. I'll spill the beans for now. This server has 128 gigabytes, I believe. Yes, 128 gigabytes of RAM. These are 8 gigabyte blocks. There's 2 of them in each, so do the math. 16 times 8, that's about 120. Yeah, 128. And these are PC3 8500R memory DIMMs, and like I said, there's only 2 of them in here, and they are pretty nifty actually compared to what I've seen in some other machines. Dell has a unique way of, I guess, consolidating or optimizing their space in their servers, and you can already see right there that's one of the 4 heat sinks that are on this server. So without further ado, I'm going to actually take out all of these DIMMs, or sorry, these memory riser cards, so that I can get access to my CPUs. So let's do that right now. We have now all the memory trays, riser cards out and over here. And as you can see, my god, the nice amount of room that the server now has without these memory cards in place. And now you can actually see as well all 4 heat sinks that are on this server. There's 4 of them, and under them are actually 4 Xeon E7 4870 processors. Those are 10 cores each, 20 with hyperthreading, and has a base clock speed of 2.4 gigahertz. I believe there is turbo. I'm not sure what the turbo is on them. Here as well, you can actually see this is the back plane for the drives in the front. And these are the connections that go to the RAID controller in the back. That's over there. And the next thing to do, actually, to get access to the CPUs, we need to take one more thing out, and it's this massive fan tray. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, so let me put this down for a second. I'll take this out and I'll show you how this fan tray looks like. Tray out of the server. This is not that it's heavy, but it's a pretty big guy too. So let me see if I can get my camera here. I don't want to destroy the front panel. That's the fan tray. These are really big fans, and they can push a lot of air through the server, and there are 6 of these massive fans. These are, I believe, 120 millimeter fans. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. Dell doesn't say All I know is they're big and they push a lot of air, because otherwise this server will be in constant heating, overheating. Yeah, let's put this down and I'll show you the Ixion CPUs now. Again, here we go. Now, again, more room to the server. A lot of the room is taken up, I guess, by the fans and the memory cards. But here you go. So now we can actually see completely the 4 heat sinks for the Ixion CPUs. And now we can also, as well, we can see the I/O cards that are located in the back of the server. Let's push this in a little bit. That's the what do you call it? I'm not sure what they call it, but this card over here has the iDRAC and some LOM ports, LAN on motherboard. Right behind it, actually, is hidden, is the PERC H700 RAID controller. That's a 4 gig fiber channel card. These are 8 gig fiber channel cards, and these are 2 quad port gigabit Ethernet cards. And we are going to start now by taking off these heat sinks so that we can put on our new thermal paste. So let's get to that, and I'll show you how these guys look underneath. Without the heat sinks, there's the 4 massive, well, decently sized heat sinks for these Ixion processors. Copper, of course, as well. Not sure how many heat pipes are here. Yeah, those are the heat pipes. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 heat pipes. So you can see right there, going through the fins. And as well, check out that nice thermal compound. Oh yes, that's nice and dry. And the same as with the other ones. So this is definitely going to get a revamp, and we're going to put some nice thermal compound on there so that we can rejuvenate this a little bit. Here we go as well. These are the 4 Ixion CPUs that are on the server actually. Like I said before, these are the E7 4870s, 10 core, 20 threads each. And as well, yeah, you can just take a look at that. The thermal paste is kind of gone already on this guy and the other ones as well. So we're going to put some new thermal compound, and hopefully we can rejuvenate some life out of this bad boy. And of course, oh, one thing also I forgot to mention, these are the power supplies in the back over here for the server. This server has 4 1100 watt power supplies. 2 are minimum required for operation, and 4 are required for full redundancy, I believe. Yeah, so I'm going to start now by wiping down each of these CPUs to clean the old paste off and put some new paste on, and hopefully we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned. Okay, so a little bit after now, we cleaned up, or at least I cleaned up thermal compound now from the heat sinks and the CPUs, and there on the floor are the remains of that old compound with the 99% isopropyl alcohol I used. Now I'm going to go over it a little bit more, but now you can see they're nice and clean, and if I can get close to it, there you go. That's the tag right there, name, everything. So if you're curious, look it up, go for it. And of course there's 4 of them here, and well, heatsink is just a heatsink with the now clean copper left behind. So we're going to put some heatsink compound now on this guy, and we're going to reinstall heat sinks back into the server, and we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned once again. Heating compound on this guy, I might have put a little bit too much, but it's gonna work. That's what matters. Especially there, I might have put just a little too much, but I do it in the star pattern. I've seen that's probably the best way. That's the best. That's the best way. Sorry, that I see that I do it, and it gets me the best performance out of it. So, and as well, other people can say that as well, that this is probably the best way to do it, especially for something like this. So now the only thing that's left to do is to put back the heat sinks. So we'll put those back on, strap them back down, put the fans back, everything back, and we'll see how it goes. Stay tuned. Here again. This time, server is now all closed, and oh, sorry, not all closed, but all put back together. Heat sinks are all back. Can't see. Oh, you can't see them, but they're all down there. You can see that's one down there. Yeah, you can't see that, but they're all there. Everything's back in place. And one thing I'm going to do before I put this cover and everything and whatnot on is I'm going to take this USB key and I'm going to plop it, if I remember where it is, I think it's here. Yeah, right there. So if you see, it says INT USB. That stands for internal USB. And what this is designed, actually, what it's designed to do is for a lot of, especially for units like this, a lot of the times they're not going to be running standalone operating systems like Windows Server, Windows 10, because it's just too powerful, and doing something like that usually is not very efficient. So a lot of the times, what these guys actually what they run is actually, it's called hypervisors. Hypervisors, and basically hypervisors like VMware ESXi or Oracle, I think, has one, but I'm not too certain, or Proxmox actually. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be installing Proxmox onto this thumb drive, which will be placed. I can even place it here. Actually, I might have to look. Yeah, it's going to be placed right on that guy, and using an installer, we will install Proxmox onto this little USB key. And what's going to happen with Proxmox is we can allocate the power of this machine much better. Power as in computing power, like memory, CPUs, instead of just throwing it all onto one operating system. So with basically something like VMware ESXi or Proxmox, you can have multiple instances of Windows Server 2012, 2016, Windows 10, even Mac OS as well, I believe. Just, you know, a lot of that stuff, and you can have a lot of those instances, those machines running at the same time on this one big bad boy. So that's why a lot of the times as well, you can see that it's really spec'd out pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thumb drive, put it in the back, but I think before I just want to make sure that there's nothing left on this key, so that when I put it in, I don't possibly erase a bunch of important stuff. So I'll do that first, put it in, and we'll take it from there. Last thing I wanted to show before closing up this big bad boy is actually the cover of it. When you see it closed, you just see the lid, the latch, and some important other stuff. But here, when you open it up, it actually gives the user or whoever is opening it a very detailed view of the system itself. It gives an overview of the main board, all the slots, the CPUs, memory, the configuration. It should be jumpers, everything that's on this board is kind of summarized here. The full details are in the service manual or user manual, but here actually it does provide a lot of useful information. So of course, first things first is, if you've never been in a machine like this, you would want to look at this first before doing anything else here, because if you don't, then you might get yourself into some trouble with problems down the road. So of course, just look at this, do yourself a favor, and you'll thank me in a later time. Once again, it's a little bit of a mess. I try to keep things clean, but yeah, nothing much has changed here as well. Oh, that will be explained in another video what that is. Sub panel, light as usual, but for this video, again, the R910. So this guy, there's nothing much to be shown in the back. We have the four 1100 watt power supplies. I would pull them out, but I kind of have this PDU in the way, so I can't really pull it out easily. But take my word for it, they're 1100 watts each. For some reason, the orange tab that you can see here, is missing on them. I have no idea why I got it like that. So there's the power supplies. These are all the PCIe expansion slots. These are the 2 quad gigabit ports, network ports, the 8 gig fiber channel, the 4 gig fiber channel, some RS-232, 2 more PCIe slots. Well, actually one. It's a single X16 slot in the inside, but this has 2 in case you have a nice big card you want to throw in or whatever. VGA, 4 LOM line on motherboard ports, gigabit, the iDRAC port, and the V-Flash, iDRAC V-Flash card. Yeah, so that's basically the rear of the unit. I'm going to put some power to it and cross my fingers nothing blows up. Yeah, and I'll attach a monitor to the front and we'll see what's going on inside the server, and we can do some configuration settings in the BIOS and see how that looks like. So let me do that and I'll get back to you. Just to show you how it looks like all connected, there's the 4 power supplies connected. Not sure if you can, there you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm currently running them off this PDU on the side, 120 volts, and yeah, I'm going to go in the front now, hook up a keyboard and mouse and keyboard and monitor, and we'll see what we can do with this guy. So let's go. Alright, so we are just about ready to see this guy lift off, because, well, I say lift off, but I don't know if actually during startup it's loud. I know for one thing, that guy, yeah, that M1000E right there, that is a loud piece of machinery right there. Yeah, when you apply power to that thing, don't stand behind it, okay, because otherwise you'll get a shit ton of air blown in your face. But we're about to hit power on this guy, see if anything comes up. Well, I know it works, so we will see something. And we'll go into the BIOS and see what happens. Yeah, we have our keyboard hooked up, our monitor. I don't need the mouse, so I didn't connect the mouse, so we're just gonna hit power. There you go. Not too bad. Configuring memory. Please wait. Dell.com. What a lovely company, yeah. It's running. System booting, and that's what I mentioned before, the LCD panel. Nice LCD panel. So I can configure this in many ways. Actually, let me see if it gives me. Yeah, see, there you go. Setup, view, the iDRAC IP. So there's my IP. There you go. See, my IP. This I don't care to show because this is whatever. There you go. Subnet. I can really see a lot of things from the panel here. Go to name, the host name. Doesn't even say because it's still booting. So there you go. Setup. iDRAC. Oh, set error. What? Oh, I have no idea what this is. It says set error. But there you go. System booting. It's actually quite quiet. Really, it is quiet. I'm surprised. And it is running. So yeah, it's configuring memory. I swore that I remember this was being a little bit louder. Anyways, the BIOS host has been updated by me beforehand from a while back. Oh, let's hit F2, system setup. So you can see there we have multiple options that we can go into. But for now, we're going to hit the we're going to enter the system setup. I can probably, if I can, I'll look through the other ones. So there you go. Let's set the. Yeah, there you go. That looks a little better. Yeah, it's also another thing with these machines. It's not like your desktop laptop or a desktop computer where it takes, you know, even with an SSD, takes whatever 2 seconds to boot up. This guy, no matter no matter with an SSD, NVMe, or whatever, it's still going to take this long to boot up, and that's not because of any hardware problem. It's because it goes through a lot of checks during this setup. It checks the CPUs, it checks the memory, and especially if you do have a server that has like half a terabyte of RAM or you know, a terabyte or something, it will take long because it has to check through everything to make sure that all the components are good. Otherwise, it's going to start spitting out errors. So yeah, during a normal startup, it does take this long, and if all is well, we shouldn't see any yellow or orange, amber lighting going on. All so far, it's all green. Yeah, we'll let it boot, and once I'm in the BIOS, I'll get back to you. So here we are. It went past through everything, so it looks like everything is okay so far. It's just saying here that there's no hard drives left in the bays, and that the previous configuration is no longer there. So we can ignore this message. So it tells you what does it say? It says if this is okay. So it's saying if this is not expected, then we have to check and make sure everything's connected. But otherwise, we can just continue to hit any key. It tells you no drives, which is okay. And yeah, the specs, of course, right there, and it's set right below, right above the 128 gigs, and the CPUs as well. These are just some what's it called? This is the system ROM for the adapters plugged in the back. All of this is all the ROM for the adapters, the PCIe adapters, and whatever. The option ROM setup, it's occurring. That's why it says here. This one, I don't know why it says ROM BIOS not installed. Yeah, here we go. So we have, this is our iDRAC right here. Copyright Dell 2011. Yeah, and here we go. Now we are in the BIOS. So this is not like any of the new UEFI or, you know, gamer style motherboard BIOSes. This is really old school primitive style BIOSes. Yeah, what we're going to do is I won't bore you with me going through the BIOS, but I'm just going to double check some settings to make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to, and we'll go ahead and we're going to see if we can load up Proxmox. Oh, and also I'm going to do some iDRAC configuration because it looks like the IP addresses are not set, so I'll set some IP addresses so we can also look through my laptop, the iDRAC, and see what's going on there as well. So stay tuned. Here we go. I applied some changes in the BIOS. I still actually have to put the iDRAC IP and some iDRAC IP settings. Yeah, we are now booting once again. And again, this is going to take quite some time before we get past anything. So we'll let the system do whatever it has to do. And I'm really surprised it's actually really quiet. From the last time I used this, I'm pretty sure it was louder. But I guess now it's quiet. But I checked all the settings are good in the BIOS, so we'll let it do its thing. And once I'm done, well, actually, I'm done putting some iDRAC IP settings in this guy, I'll get back to you. I thought so that I show you. Actually, I don't have an image of Proxmox already downloaded to be flashed onto a thumb drive or something to load it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download a copy. So typically to install Proxmox, it's not too complicated. Hit up Proxmox, and then you click on the first link. It will bring you to their site. And let's see, we're going to click OK. We're going to go under, I think downloads is the way to go. Click downloads. And we are looking for the first one, the Proxmox Virtual Environment, PVE. So we're going to click that one. We're going to click on ISO images, and we're going to select the latest one, which I believe is this. No, not that one. We want not the BitTorrent version. We want the normal version, which will be this guy, ISO installer. So we're going to click on download, and it's going to download a copy of Proxmox and put it on my computer. So once that's done, we can load, or we can burn that onto our flash drive. I think I'm going to use this guy to put it on, and we can plug it into the R910 and boot it off there and install Proxmox. So this is gonna take some time. It says 1 minute left, but I don't think so. I do have a good internet connection, so that's not a problem. So once this is all done, and this is still loading, by the way, we'll get back to you. All right, so we put some iDRAC settings in, and yeah, no, so that's blinking because I toggled the the indicator light on. So yeah, so if we just press that again, guess what? That goes away. There you go. So yeah. Anyhow, so this is basically the typical iDRAC configuration page that a lot of this is because it's an 11th gen server. So a lot of the 11th gen servers have this look. It's pretty much the same thing all over. The 12th generation and beyond have a different look, but you know, the purpose is the same. It's the management for your server. So a lot of this stuff gets set when the server is put into place first. I put it into place, but never set it. So that's why it's getting done now. And I put some settings in. So I'll just click on escape, and I want to save. And it's going to restart the machine actually. It's going to apply the changes and restart. Should restart. Yeah, there you go. It's restarting. There goes the fans. So I'll let it do its thing. Hopefully put on Proxmox, see how it goes, and keep you guys posted. So I thought to show you how to burn an image like Proxmox on a flash drive like this guy. I'm using an application called Rufus, or Rufus, I don't know how to say it. And the way this guy works is you load on your ISO file, and you specify where you want to save it. So in this case, I actually already have something on here, but I don't need to worry because I don't need it again. So we specify the device. In this case, it's the USB key. We specify our bootable image, which is the image we got from the Proxmox website. And once we do that, a lot of this stuff is actually already put in for you. So I'm not going to modify anything. I'm going to leave it to defaults. You can customize whatever label you want to put for it. I'm going to leave it like this. It's okay for me. And we're going to click start. Oh, start. And it's going to say this is just for the boots or whatever. Yeah, we're going to click on yes. So that's just for the actual booting for it. Recommended. Yeah, we're going to do that. That's okay. And it's going to warn us that the image that is already there will be removed. So we're going to click OK, and I don't need to worry because I already have my copy of it digitally. And it's going to clear a bunch of stuff and do whatever, and it's going to flash on it, and you can see it's already blinking crazy. And this shouldn't take too long, but we'll let it do its thing. And once that is done, I'm going to pop it into the server, and I'm going to try to log in through the iDRAC and see how it looks. So stay tuned. I thought to show you just now, this is actually the login page for the Dell's, for actually not just the R910, but for all the other Dell PowerEdge servers. This is basically, actually for those who don't know what even iDRAC is basically the management engine or tool, whatever you want to call it, for their servers. And with iDRAC you can do a bunch of stuff actually remotely, and not always, in this case, in the garage, or for me at least, in the garage, or in a data center, right? So, and it's a very useful tool because, especially for IT admins and other people who are working on this stuff, working remotely is probably the best thing for most of the time, unless if there's really some problems. because then afterwards you have to go back and forth between the location of the server and your office, so it's not good. So that's why a lot of times this is included with the server, because it just really, it makes a lot of things easier. So I'm going to log in and I'll show you how it looks, and we'll see what we can do. So here we are. Now we're logged in actually to the iDRAC on the R910, and you can see there's a lot of things that can be done actually remotely for the server. So for example, we can actually see a preview over here of how it looks like on the display. So currently we're seeing this here where it's still complaining about the drives missing. So if we click on launch and click save file, this looks like it's a Java runtime. Let's see if we open it. Open, okay. Later. It's all Java runtime, yeah. There you go. Continue. Okay. So, see, not everything's perfect on my end. I have to actually add an exception to the lists for Java so that I can actually see what's going on. So let me just do that quickly and I'll get back to you. So quick update. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm having some problems connecting to the remote console, so I'll have to figure that out another time. In the meantime, we're going to continue on with installing Proxmox. So I think that the thumb drive now is available to use. So I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to eject my flash drive. And I'm going to go over to the Dell R910, plug it in. There you go. And you can also see my custom string that I put for the server. There you go. It's not, that's why I like having it, because it's a little nice feature. So now the thumb drive is in place. We're gonna pass this. I should actually F11. Let's see if that's gonna recognize it. I don't think it's, yeah, I think it might be too late. It might load into it actually automatically, so we'll see what happens. But once I get into the configuration for, or the once I load up into Proxmox, I'll get back to you. So here we are actually. Still having problems with the remote console. I'm going to have to figure that out another time. But here we are on the boot manager. It has picked up our Proxmox installation. I don't know if you can see it, but there you go. Front USB flash drive. So we're going to, because don't forget I have the internal one as well, but that's where we're going to store Proxmox. So I'm going to run it from the front. Here we go. Ta-da! Proxmox. Welcome to Proxmox virtual environment. So what we want to do is we want to install Proxmox. See, now the fans are kicking up. So we're going to select the first one. Loading Proxmox. It's copying over to menu. Yeah. I mean, my console does somewhat show up here, but for some reason I'm unable to launch it. But we'll figure that out another time. So, yeah, this is just its thing loading up. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. And once it shows up for, once it, what's it called? Once it shows up with all the other stuff, I'll get back to you. So it looks like we ran into a problem. I have no idea why, but it's basically saying that there's no bootable image found for some reason. Yeah, so plan 2, I'm using the old school way. Yeah, gonna burn an image onto this guy, load it there, see what happens, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so here we go. We're now loaded up once again with Proxmox, but this time we are using the optical drive. So we're going to see if now we select install, if it's going to complain. As you can see now, it's reading the disk now, indicated by the light. So we'll see now if this works. I have no idea why. Sometimes with ISO images, if I load them onto USB flash drives like that one over there, it's touch and go. So my backup usually is using the optical drive, because I mean, well, almost, I'm pretty sure, yeah, every single machine I have here, besides the blades, of course, has an optical drive. So, you know, it's there. Why not use it? So, looks like it's doing something now. We'll see how this goes. Now I'm just gonna do this, auto set. Yeah, so now it says it. So now there you go. It's found it. Before it didn't find it. I have no idea why. So there you go. Now we're already much further ahead than before. This is some other stuff. I don't know. It's okay. Yeah, so there you go. We are really now, we're pushing forward. So for some reason my USB thumb drive didn't work. If anybody knows why, then leave bloop down in the comments below. I would like to know why. I followed all the steps that I you know usually know that works best, so there you go. But yeah, I just basically did the same thing, but instead for an optical drive, for a CD, not CD, sorry, rewritable DVD, and look, it's working now. So fingers crossed, see how the rest goes, and once it gets there, I'll keep in touch. So we've reached now further than before, that's for sure. We've reached the license agreement page, so this is the beginning of the whole thing. But to be quite honest with you, I don't agree with the licensing and whatever. I feel like I want to disagree, but guess what? I can't even disagree. I can only agree. So guess what? I guess I have to agree. So click agree. It says okay, automatically partitions. Automatic okay, here we go. Yeah, check this out. So it already picked up my flash drive, so we're gonna select that. We click options. Okay, so I can't even, yeah, I can't use ZFS, so I think the default is alright. I don't know. Let me check that up quickly, and I'll see what it says. So just check quickly, and it looks like the defaults are okay. So most important is that it's going to be installed on my USB key inside the Dell that I put before. So I'm just going to click next. Country, we're going to put Canada. Where's Canada? There it is, Canada. I don't think that's correct. Let's put, yeah, no, it's not correct. Let's put America. Is there Montreal? Montreal. Where's Montreal? Edmonton, Halifax, Regina, no. Toronto, Whitehorse. Wow, there's not much. I think Toronto will be the closest one. Yeah, not Winnipeg, no. Not Halifax. No, not Halifax. That's definitely not the closest one. I don't know why Montreal's not here. That's great. So we're gonna put Toronto. That's our same time zone. Yeah. So there you go. Toronto. U.S. English. I'm gonna put a password. So let me place my phone down quickly. Put something highly secretive. I'm gonna put my email as well. All my personal information. Next, okay, so I'm gonna put some. So here, basically, we're going to place some IP configuration thingamajiggies. So let me do that, and I think yeah, I'm gonna just finish with the configuration, and once it's done installing, I'll get back. So here we go. I put in a few other settings, name, all that stuff, and now it's creating partitions. It's allocating all the stuff that it needs to the thumb drive that's installed, and once this is done and restarts, we'll get back to you. Okay, quick update. So this is actually, it's been quite a while and it's still doing this. I've come to the realization, and also from some searching on the web, that it's not reliable enough to install on a thumb drive. So what it looks like it's come to is I seem to have some of these 500 gig SAS drives laying around, so I'm going to put 2 in this guy. I'm going to put 2 in the other because I'm going to have some other stuff going on for him. So I have one of the caddies out on the floor, and I'm going to start filling up the other one, or at least the other one too as well, with the drives, and we'll see how it goes. Stay tuned. Alright, so the new drives are in, so the system is picking them up. Well, at least the green lights are on. I installed 2 of them here as well. The rest of the caddies are empty, as you can see. And we're going to fix this problem. I have to say, I thought this would have worked on a thumb drive, but apparently also, now that I read, one, they say it's unreliable. For one thing, they say, yeah, it's unreliable if you install it on a thumb drive like I am trying to do now. And second of all, it's slow as hell. I should have known that beforehand. But what I found interesting is, I don't understand, because I have over here, I have VMware for these machines, and all the way down to the IBMs over here as well. I have VMware ESXi installed, and I have them installed on a thumb drive. And I have to say, actually, when I was installing in the very beginning, copying and over everything to the USB drives, it was pretty fast. It didn't take really that too long. And I'm here, over here, it's at 56% complete, and this thing's been going at least over an hour. So something ain't right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually have to cut it. I have to cancel it, and I'm going to install it. I'm gonna create a RAID 1 on these 2 drives, and I'm going to install it there, and it should be a lot faster, and you're gonna see what I mean. So I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna launch the RAID configuration utility that is over here on the R910 for the H700, and we'll see what happens. So stay tuned. Alright, so here we are actually now. System has been rebooted, and we are now in the Perks H700 controller, RAID controller configuration utility. And first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to configure those 2 drives to be in a RAID 1 array. Now I know, especially for Proxmox, it likes to have what's it called? It doesn't want to have any hardware RAID done. It's all supposed to be done by software and whatnot. In this case, I don't think I have much of a choice, because the RAID controller that is in, or that's in already here, is not flashed for IT mode. So if I was to select, if I wanted to put this in a JBOD configuration, I don't even know if I'm able to. So if I check with F2, did that do anything? No, it did not do anything. Hello. Okay, let's see. Yeah, and it tells you right here, no configuration present. That's the RAID card. And it tells you, it sees the disk and it says it's unconfigured. So let's see. Here we go. See, don't have much of a choice here, do we, huh? That's some other stuff. That's if we had a config. See, we cannot take that. Well, actually, let's try it. Let's say, create new volume. And see here, basically, we have a bunch of other stuff that we don't really care about, I guess, for now. And here we go. See, if we wanted to change the RAID level, I think it's plus. Is it plus? Hang on. Here we go. See? And the controller knows already, because based on the number of drives that we have, we can only choose between these 2. See? it doesn't let us choose JBOD. So I guess we're gonna have to go with the RAID 1 I wanted in the beginning. We're going to allow these 2 drives maximum. That's okay. That's okay. And we're gonna give it a name. I don't know. We're gonna say what? Proxmox underscore local. Local. No. Let me see. What name should I give this? Honestly speaking, I have no idea what name I should give this. Let me think about that. I decided to give it just a very blunt name, I guess, Proxmox, and I'll name the other, what's it called? The other arrays differently, but I guess for now this is okay. Well, actually, let's hit this. We want to initialize. I'm not sure what WB is actually for. This I'm not going to touch. I don't think I have to touch. Let me just... Yeah, I remember seeing that the larger it is, well, I can put 1 meg. I guess that's okay. Yeah, put the largest one. Just it configures the partitioning a little bit differently. I can leave it like that, I guess. Yeah, the rest is okay. So if I... There you go. And I select OK. Yeah, initialization, okay. There you go. Initialization complete. That was pretty fast. Another interesting thing. Why does it say free capacity? Interesting. Physical. I think we have to. Hello. What the hell? That isn't. That's interesting. There you go. Yeah, so it sees the 2 drives. I'm not sure. This is a little bit. It's worded. It says total free capacity 0 gigabytes. I'm not sure. I think that's not worded the way I think it would have been worded. It sees both of them. It says operation none, state optimal, virtual disks. Yeah, 1 physical, 2 for areas. It's a RAID 1, so there you go. So I guess it's done the RAID configuration. We can actually, let's see, control, previous page control. No, wait a minute, control N, here we go. There you go. So it sees the 2, and it sees these are HP drives. No error as well, that's good. Let's see, control N. And some other stuff, the perk, H700, enable controller BIOS, auto import. No, actually that's not good. Nothing much. Okay. We can... Why can't I... Oh, that's great. I think it is because it doesn't see... Okay. Well, anyways, we're gonna... Yeah, see... Well, actually... Cancel? Can I... Damn it. Just jumps back. Oh, I think it saves by a default, so let's say OK. Press Control Alt Delete to reboot. So let's do that. So we did some configuration on the RAID controller. So now it should have a RAID 1 array, and we're going to load up the installation for Proxmox again and go through it again, and hopefully this time it won't be slow as molasses. So yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. We're going to jump into it, and when I get there I'll resume. So we are finally finished. It looks like it's successfully installed this time, and it is running now on the 2 SAS drives that I put in RAID 1. Everything else seems to be normal. I don't see any other errors coming up on the screen. And if you look here, this is just the default login window for Proxmox on the R910 now. And if I go here, I have it already actually connected, and you can see this is my base. This is basically, it looks similar to ESXi, so this is the home page, I guess you would like to call it, for Proxmox. And within here you can do a lot of things, right? So you can create virtual machines, yes, create a virtual machine, create a container, a lot of things really that you can do. And this is all open source, of course. It's free to use. I mean, you know, if you spend some time on it, you know, you can get very good with it, that's for sure. High availability, a lot of, you know, enterprise features, actually, surprisingly, that's over here. It looks to be a little bit simpler than VMware ESXi. But yeah, no, definitely for sure, it looks pretty cool and pretty slick, and I will be messing around with it, see how it goes. But yeah, the one last thing that I want to do is actually, I'm going to restart this host because I have to change some settings in my iDRAC lifecycle controller, or if whatever they call it. I never know how to say it correctly, but anyways, I have to change some settings in the iDRAC, and yeah, once I do that, I'll get back. So it looks like it's all working now once again. I did a restart, I adjusted some settings, and the R910 is there now, running Proxmox version, or at least, sorry, Proxmox virtual environment version 6.3, revision 2. And everything else is wine. It's been so long, I'm starting to go nuts. My text is printing on the display. It just says, welcome Proxmox host home 01. That's pretty much it. It has some nice features, this, so I'm not going to complain. There's the indicator to identify the system by the blinking, so there you go. The 2 disks that I installed to run Proxmox, those are working just fine. They are in the RAID 1. I'll make sure, yeah, no, there's nothing in there. But yeah, it's working really good now. You can see here that this is the default login window for Proxmox, and that yeah, nothing's going on at the moment. I'm not logged in. And here is actually how it looks like logged in on a computer. Those are the 2 default. This is all brand new, all started from scratch, so those are the 2 default storage directories. I have to do some configuration here as well, but at the moment it looks like it's working pretty darn good. I really have to, you know, get to it with this because I don't know much about Proxmox besides installing it and running it. So I'm going to learn how to do some nice stuff. I know it's Linux based, so I had a course actually over the semester. I spent the past semester learning about Linux. So I have now some Linux commands that I know and that I know, and also I know how to navigate around Linux now a little bit better. So yeah, no, everything's good. Nothing's crashing. So I would call that a success. It's late, and I hope this video is not getting too long. I haven't taken a look at the footage yet. As usual, like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Until then, see you. Bye-bye.